What's good, people, man? Platinum Bearded Dread. Tails upon the bench, them. Remember the days when, you know, people knock on your door and ask for you to come out? Well, in my days anyway. And you'd go out all together. Growing up in Kent, yeah, sometimes we'd be out for hours. We'd go for strolls in the cornfields and, you know, in open fields. We'd be gone for hours, man. We wouldn't even come home for lunch. You know, kicking a ball or looking for swings, you know, tires to play with and little rivers and stuff like that to jump around on. And even we go to apple trees and steal the apples and run over the fence. We call it scrumping. We'd play war fights using, you know, bales of hay to build our little castles and stuff. Or remember the days when you just, you know, just playing with your brothers and sisters or with your friends and making up games. You know, you just watched a movie, for instance, martial arts movie or superhero movie, and all of a sudden you're that character and nothing else exists but that character. It almost felt like nothing existed but your world, that childhood world. Now, obviously, some of us has had some real traumatic childhoods. But you know, the overall picture, that was a picture that, you know, that we had of what childhood is. Fast forward to 2021, what the hell is going on, man? What the hell is going on? Right now, we've got an increase of 40% of children being prescribed antidepressants as a result of these constant lockdowns and this whole fear culture put on us through the media and through so-called experts and the government. Fear, fear, fear. You're looking around, you know, everyone's wearing masks, so you don't even know if they're smiling or frowning. You don't even know what they're looking like, even though parents are wearing masks. Everywhere you look, masks. Everywhere you turn on the TV, social distancing, pandemic, this, that, and the other. And is it a wonder why you got an increase in 40% of children being prescribed antidepressants? I remember a time when antidepressants was only really used for adults, you know, 18-year-olds upwards. You never really heard of that in relation to like under 10-year-olds and 9-year-olds and 11-year-olds. You know what I mean? So what the hell, man? And to top it off, the waiting lists for children to see therapists is so long that children are having to wait months. The whole doctor, you know, the GP system is overwhelmed because there's no time for those children that need to see them because they're working back to back. And you know what? I saw this coming. Many people saw this coming. The government knew that constant lockdowns is going to produce a different mindset in children that are our future, resulting in now you've got children with extreme anxiety problems. They can't even leave the house. They're too afraid to leave the house. Something as simple as that, leaving the house. We're not even talking about other things. Leaving the house. What the hell, man? What kind of childhood are they getting robbed of? Or what kind of childhood are they having to live? And what the hell is that going to set up for them in the future as when they become adults? That they can't even look back to a time where, you know, they could be children, having to grow up so fast. And this angers me because ultimately, I've said it and I'll say it again, we should never ever look to the government, the media and the doctors to raise our children, because that's a business. And they got their own motives for what they do, but these are our children, man, that we brought into the world. And if there's anything that we should be fighting for, it's them. Because ultimately, no one else will, and no one else really cares, to be frank. And now you've got childhood suicides. What the hell, man? Childhood suicides. And this is just the beginning, because as we know, we're just seeing the early stages of what this is going to look like in generations to come. What about the babies that have grown up just seeing masks everywhere, and feeding off their parents' fears? What about the children who had minimal contact with other children because of the bubbles, so the so-called bubbles in classes, and like I said, constant lockdowns and the social distancing? What is that doing for their social skills and their overall state of happiness? My gosh, man. So you may turn around and say, well, what do we do? What do we do? Well, for starters, as an adult, we should all be looking to get the truth, the facts, not just falling and buying into this propaganda that the media keeps spewing out because they've got their own motive, and not assume that just because it's mainstream media, it's the truth, when it's not and never has been. The whole agenda of the media was never to tell us the truth. The whole agenda of the media is to keep us thinking in a certain way that benefits them. So that's the first thing. We should be looking for the truth, the facts. Just because someone says expert or leading expert or respected scientist, so what? At the end of the day, we should be seeking the truth, the facts. Even if it makes us unpopular amongst our friends and amongst our children, that's the first thing. Second thing, the government. We shouldn't be assuming just because they're quote unquote there to serve the people, that's the fact, because it's not, and it never was. Third thing, the medical establishment. We just got to come to terms, and I know it's a bit to pill to swallow, that the medical establishment is a business, and without customers, quote unquote, without people being sick, then the business doesn't produce any profit. So when we understand it like that, and we understand how those three elements, the government, the media, and the medical establishment work together to benefit each other, then we know what we've got to do when it comes to our own children. Same thing with the educational system. As far as I'm concerned, the educational system is dead now, and we need to find a new way to not only teach our children, but give them facts. We've been programmed for too long. But the last thing I would say is this: don't bring your fear into the house. At the end of the day, if you choose to take on board the fears that the government and the media and the scientists, so-called, are spewing out, let that be on you, but don't bring that to your children. At the end of the day, you're robbing them of their childhood. Let their childhood be as much as quote-unquote normal as it can be, but don't bring your fears to them, because it's just, to me, that's cruel. I know sometimes people do unwillingly, but when you know it, don't bring that to your children. And on top of that, tell them the truth. I'm not saying give them the latest 101 on what the news said. No, I'm just saying that let them know that this isn't a government that loves them or even wants the best for them. Let them know that the medical establishment is a business. So the image we have of doctors is not what we think it is. Let them know they can take it. They can, as long as we're honest with them. You know what I mean? And ultimately, let them know that good always prevails over evil. So this isn't something to be afraid of, but at least empower them with truth and knowing that it will be okay in the end. Man. It's one time you'll see me angry when it comes to the abuse of children, and right now that's what's going on. Let's do this for the children, man. Platinum Bearded Red. Oh yeah, don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe or something. We can do this again. Tales upon the bench then. Yeah, man.